I heard I was a tomboy my whole childhood, actually, because I always wanted to do the fun stuff. I didn't want to just necessarily play the girl games. I remember I used to get in trouble in particular for jumping off this giant, back in the day we had cable boxes, and they were huge, and I would just jump off it all kinds of ways, and I would try to teach myself gymnastics, and I was always jumping off of something or trying to flip off of something or trying to build something out of dirt or mud. Yeah, I've heard that my whole life, that I was a tomboy. I was at a time in my life where I think I was not feeling very strong. And so I was looking for something to do that would help me, I guess, feel some kind of strength to get over the things I was dealing with in my life. I was a new mom, I was a single mom. I was like really concerned about being this stereotype of a single Black mom. And for me, that meant you go to work from 8 to 5 someplace, your kid goes to daycare. And I just felt like, I can't believe that I did this to myself. This was not what I wanted to do with my life. And I was just feeling very, I think, down on where my life was headed. And I was with a girlfriend in Little 5 Points, and we found a flyer just laying literally on the ground, and it was a drawing or cartoon, I guess, of one of the roller girls, and she just looked so badass. And it was actually based on a real Atlanta roller girl at the time named Big Red. She was like 700 feet tall with this flaming red afro, and she had in this flyer, she like bruises, and she just looked like don't mess with her. And I hadn't seen a roller derby bout, but I thought this looks like a group of women that I might want to be a part of. And the friend that I was with was like, they're never gonna have you. These white girls have tattoos, and like, they're just not gonna have you. This is not a thing for you. And so I decided right in that moment that I was gonna go join this group of roller girls just because it looked cool, but someone also told me I couldn't do it. So that's a guaranteed way to get me to go do something. So I showed up to a practice, and there was one other Black girl there. So I was like, all right, that's cool. They're gonna, let me in. I don't really fit this mold. They were all kind of wild and had tattoos, and, many of them crazy hair, and they drank beers all the time. And it just wasn't kind of who I was. I had my business casual hair and a baby. So I didn't really fit with this mold, but they accepted me, and that started like a 6, almost 7-year stint of playing roller derby, which was awesome. I was playing roller derby at the national level, and really didn't think anything would come of it. I mean, you pay to play roller derby, so I had just decided this was my expensive hobby and this is what I was gonna do. It was fun, and I had this instant family of badass women, so that was cool and what I needed very much at the time. And then Drew Barrymore made a movie about roller derby called Whip It, and there wasn't a Black stunt woman in Hollywood who could skate for Eve, and she was one of the main characters, rapper actress Eve. And so they called me. They called the Atlanta Roller Girls, and my name was given to them, and I just happened to be the right size and height. And so within days, I was on a plane headed to Detroit, and there I was working on my first feature film. I didn't go after Hollywood. Hollywood came to me, which is cool. And I knew pretty much immediately that I wanted to do stunts. I mean, here they were paying me to play the game that I had previously, for years, had been paying to play. And when I learned what stunt people make, I was like, how can I get in here? Like, I want to do this. This is gonna pay way better than being a professor at the university level, which is what I had planned to do. I wanted to teach history at the university level. So that was it. I went to that stunt coordinator and I said, I would like to do this full time. And he said, I think you'd be great at it. So he made some phone calls for me and a stunt woman was born. As a stunt woman, I needed something to do that would be like my skill within the stunt community. And it certainly wasn't going to be playing roller derby, just because how often does Hollywood need someone to play roller derby? Not often. And so I had to just go find other things. And so for years, I tried lots of stuff. I tried different martial arts. I went and got my scuba certification. And so I keep those skills up, and I learned to do fire stunts, and I learned to rock climb and rappel and do all sorts of crazy things that stunt people do, but I didn't love any of it. And then on one of my shows, The Walking Dead, we got a horse. My character got a horse, and that was it. It gave me an excuse to go get a horse, and so I went out into the Atlanta horse community, like begged everybody I could find, every stable. Will you please train me? Will you please train me? And the truth is that I couldn't get anybody to train me. It's like super disheartening for a period of months, me just like emailing and nobody calling back, or calling and them, only doing English and I needed Western, or just for whatever reason, it just wasn't working out. I ended up at a place in Ellenwood, Georgia, and it was run, well, still is run, by this Jewish American woman. And she said to me very lovingly, sweetheart, the horse community here doesn't accept me because I am Jewish. They are not going to have you. And I was like, what do I do? Like, what do you mean? Like, I can't train myself in the horses. It's like, somebody's got to train me. And she says, your best bet is to go find the Black Cowboys. I just kind of Googled, and the Atlanta Black Rodeo Association popped up, and I called the president. It was Keith Roberts, who I refer to as my cowboy these days. And I told him who I was and what I wanted to do, and he basically said, you can come out and try to ride my horses, but if you're no good, like, you cannot train here. Like, I will not deal with you. And so it was like, no pressure. And so he invited me out. Put me on a horse that was his most difficult horse, but the horse he felt like I would do best with, considering what I wanted to do, which was run barrels. And that was it. I went out there and I was determined to ride that horse, and I did, and he kept me. And I've been training with him ever since. Like, literally every day that I'm not at work on a set someplace, I'm training horses with Keith. When I was really young, I lived in an agricultural area of Southern California, and my family still lives in an agricultural area. And so just in driving, you see all sorts of animals. And I mean, they were just beautiful. And that's what sparked my interest. Like, people rode these things that, for me, it was like I'm in my car and I could just see them out the window, but I knew that people rode them. Obviously, I had television and whatever else. It just wasn't even a thing, like, to ask to ride horses. I just knew that that was not in the cards for us. We were poor, so it just wasn't happening. But from a very young age, I've been admiring horses from my car window. There hasn't been a Black woman to kind of come through and really stake a claim at the most professional levels of rodeo. I mean, there have been a few to compete at high levels, but no one has really come through and, like, really killed it. And I think it could be me. I feel like it could be me.